Pope Francis called on world leaders gathered at the United Nations in New York on Friday to take firm action on the environment, planning selfish and boundless thirst for power and material for its destruction. The speech to the 193 members UN General Assembly expanded on themes the Pope had already discussed during the whirlwind trip to the United States and Cuba. And the KTN's Alex Chamada reports his visit to the United Nations is the fifth by a Pope.
Pope Francis was touring the United Nations headquarters for the first time, and this was the first time a Pope addressed the United Nations General Assembly, coinciding with the 70th anniversary of the Assembly. First, he toured the United Nations premises, met the UN staff and addressed them.
You worry about the future of the planet and what kind of a world we will leave for future generations. But today and every day, I would ask each of you whatever your capacity to care one another.
Then he addressed a gathering of more than 150 presidents and prime ministers, kicking off deliberations on the new development goals known as Sustainable Development Goals. The new goals are a continuation of the Millennium Development Goals with emphasis on a more unified approach to fighting poverty and protecting the environment as opposed to individual country targets.
Of displaced people and refugees.
The Pope called upon leaders to exercise their power properly, saying that power that is abused is harmful to the attainment of the goals. He advocated for the protection of the environment, for the common good, respect for human rights, respect for life in all its stages and dimensions, and a peaceful world free of nuclear weapons. President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda was among the leaders who gave opening statements.
The new agenda also rightly underscores the important linkages between development, peace and security, and human rights. We have to intensify efforts to combat transnational crime, terrorism, and the rise of radicalization and violent extremism around the world.
In the meantime, African leaders are set to advocate for reforms in the UN Security Council. They argue that representation in the Council is skewed, noting that while a big number of issues being handled at the Council are about Africa, the region is underrepresented, so the region lacks a voice in the Council. For KTN News, I'm Alex Chamada in New York.